I thought my date was normal, until she told me she'd dreamed about me for 3 nights straight. That same night, something knocked on my door at 2:22 in the morning, whispering in her voice to let it in. By dawn, I found handprints dragged across my floor, leading straight to where I slept. And then she told me the part that still keeps me awake: it's not the knocking you should fear, it's the forest. Because once it chooses you, it never stops calling. My name doesn't matter. What matters is what happened on that date, my first with Mara. I had met her through a friend of a friend, one of those supposedly normal, down-to-earth recommendations that's meant to keep you safe from the unknowns of online dating. Funny how the unknown still found me. The restaurant was one of those dim, amber-lit places that made everyone look more attractive. I arrived early, nervous, I guess, and kept glancing at the entrance, expecting her to walk in at any moment. When she finally did, something felt off. Not in a bad way, just a strange way. Her eyes scanned the room like she was searching for someone she already knew would be there. And when her gaze landed on me, she smiled with this softness that felt too intimate for a first meeting. As she approached, she said it, those words that should have made me leave right then and there. "I'm so glad you're real," she murmured. "I've dreamed about you for 3 nights in a row." I laughed it off. A joke, I assumed. A quirky icebreaker. People say weird things when they're nervous. But she wasn't laughing. Her expression stayed serious, almost reverent, like she was looking at something sacred. She sat down across from me, her hands perfectly still on the table, as though she'd practiced the motion beforehand. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Just silence thick enough that the clink of glasses from nearby tables sounded intrusive. Then she leaned forward, her voice a whisper even though no one was listening. "You were standing at the edge of a forest," she said. "In all 3 dreams. Always the same forest. Always the same time. Just before dawn." I felt a chill crawl up my spine, not fear exactly, but a sense that my life had just been nudged off its usual path. "I don't know any forest like that," I told her. "Oh, you will," she replied. "Not you might. Not maybe. You will." She spoke with certainty that didn't belong in normal conversation. Something in me clenched, the way a muscle does when you brace for impact. The waiter arrived, breaking the tension, but she never looked away from me, not once, not even when he asked for her order. She told him what she wanted without shifting her gaze, like she could describe the menu from memory. I remember thinking, this woman is either incredibly intense or incredibly dangerous. The rest of dinner blurred. Small talk that felt pre-scripted, as if she'd rehearsed my answers before hearing them. Every time I mentioned something about my life, my work, my family, my hobbies, she nodded with unsettling familiarity, like she was confirming details, not learning them. At one point, she said, "You always bite the inside of your cheek when you're nervous." I froze. That wasn't something most people noticed. "How did you? I've seen you do it," she said. "In the dreams." It should have ended there. I should have left. But curiosity is a trap disguised as courage. When we stepped outside after dinner, the streetlights flickered. She tilted her head, watching them, then said in a low voice, "It's starting." "What is?" She blinked, and for the first time, her confidence cracked. Fear, brief but unmistakable, flashed across her face. "I thought I had more time," she whispered. Before I could ask what she meant, she reached out and took my wrist. Not gently, desperately. "If you hear knocking tonight," she said, "don't answer. No matter what. And if you see the forest," she stopped herself, swallowed, and shook her head. Just promise you won't go to it." I tried to question her, but she backed away, repeating, "Don't go to it," like someone reciting a prayer they know won't be enough. And then she ran. Not walked, not hurried, she ran into the night like something was chasing her. I stood there alone, the taste of fear settling on my tongue like metal. I still didn't understand what she meant. But I would. Soon. And by the end of the night, I would wish I had never met her at all. I didn't sleep right away that night. Part of me was embarrassed to admit, even to myself, that a first date had gotten under my skin like this. I kept replaying her words, the way she looked at me, the way she ran. It didn't help that the restaurant's dim lights had left her face half-shadowed in my memory. The more I tried to recall the details, the more they blurred, like trying to piece together a dream that dissolved the moment you opened your eyes. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my phone as if she might text an explanation. Nothing. Eventually, exhaustion pulled me toward sleep. I told myself she was just eccentric. That her dreams meant nothing. That I would wake up in the morning and laugh about all of it. But sometime deep into the night, when the world outside was quiet enough that you could hear the soft hum of your own breathing, I woke to a sound that froze every drop of blood inside me. A knock. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. Not loud. Not frantic. But patient. I lay perfectly still, my eyes open in the darkness. Don't answer. Her voice echoed in my mind, clearer than anything. Another 3 knocks. This time slightly firmer. I sat up. My bedroom door was closed, but the knocks, they weren't coming from there. They were coming from the front door. My apartment wasn't large. A handful of steps from the bedroom to the living room, another few to the door. But the distance felt infinite in that moment. I checked the time on my phone. 2:22 in the morning. A third set of knocks, slower than the others, dragging out. Each second between them. I forced myself out of bed and tiptoed into the living room. I didn't dare make a sound. The carpet muffled my footsteps, but even then, I felt as if the air itself was listening. The knocking stopped. For a moment, the silence was so complete it rang in my ears. Then something breathed on the other side of the door. Not human breathing. Too shallow. Too fast. Like something inhaling the scent of me through the cracks. I felt a surge of cold terror so overwhelming it shook my knees. Hello? I whispered before I could stop myself. The breathing paused. Then a voice, a woman's voice, spoke on the other side. But not Mara's. Open the door. I stepped back instantly, shaking my head even though whoever, or whatever, was out there couldn't see me. Open it, the voice repeated. You forgot something. My mouth went dry. I didn't forget anything, I whispered. A scratch slid across the wood, slow and methodical, like a fingernail tracing the grain. I have it, the voice said softly. It's yours. Come get it. Something primal inside me screamed no. Every instinct I had roared at me to stay away. But then the voice changed. It became hers. Mara's. Clear, desperate, trembling. Please, she sobbed. Help me. Please open the door. It's coming, her voice cut off with a sharp, choking gasp, followed by a wet dragging sound that made my entire body seize with dread. I backed up until my spine hit the wall. Stop, I whispered. It was all I could manage. Please stop. For several long seconds, silence returned. Then something pressed against the door. Not a hand. Not a face. Something broader, heavier, like a body leaning into it. A low growl vibrated through the wood. And then a single knock. Just one. Hard enough that the frame rattled. Every hair on my body stood straight up. After that, nothing. I didn't move for what felt like hours. Eventually, at the first faint hint of dawn, exhaustion overtook fear, and I fell asleep curled against the wall. I expected morning light to bring clarity. Sanity. Explanations. Instead, it brought something else entirely: footprints. Leading from my front door all the way to my bedroom. But they weren't human. They looked like hands. Hands dragging themselves across the floor. When I finally woke again, sunlight slanting weakly through the blinds, the first thing I did was check the floor. The hand-shaped prints were still there. Not muddy. Not bloody. Something else. A dark, ashy residue, like charcoal smeared by fingers dragging across wood. My breath hitched. I backed away from the trail, which wound from the front door through the hallway, and stopped exactly where I'd fallen asleep. Right next to me. Whatever was out there, it had come inside. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands and did what every terrified, rational human being would do. I called Mara. Straight to voicemail. But right as I lowered the phone, a notification popped up. A text message. From an unknown number. One sentence: "It's not the door you should fear. It's the path." My heartbeat slammed in my chest. I didn't know why, but the words made my throat tighten with a sense of coming doom. And then, before I could process it, another message arrived. From Mara. "I'm sorry. It's already chosen you." Those words snapped something inside me. I needed answers. I needed her. Needed to understand what was happening. I threw on clothes and left the apartment without even locking the door behind me. I drove to the only place she had ever mentioned in passing, a coffee shop she liked near a small park on the edge of town. I didn't expect her to be there, but I had to start somewhere. When I arrived, the air felt wrong again, thick, heavy, like before a storm. And then I saw her. Sitting alone on a bench. Staring at the tree line of the park, where the sunlight didn't quite reach. I approached cautiously. "Mara." She flinched, then slowly turned to me with eyes rimmed red, as if she hadn't slept in days. "You shouldn't have come," she whispered. "You told me something was coming for me," I said. "You told me not to go to the forest. You owe me an explanation." Her jaw trembled. "I didn't owe you anything. I tried to warn you." She stood, but her legs looked unsteady. "I dreamed about you because the forest showed me," she said. "The forest?" I echoed. "What are you talking about?" She pointed toward the trees, thin trunks clustered together so tightly they almost formed a wall. "It's not a place," she said. "It's a hunger. It chooses people. Latches onto them. It uses dreams to pull them closer." I stared at her, not sure whether to believe her or run. "In the first dream," she continued, her eyes locked on the shadowed woods, "you were standing at the edge. In the second dream, you were closer. And in the third," her voice cracked. "In the third you were inside." A chill ripped through me. "That thing at your door," she whispered. "It was only checking. The forest wants to see if you'll answer. If you'll follow. Once you hear it, you're already marked." My mouth went dry. "Then how do I stop it?" She shook her head slowly. "You don't." A gust of wind cut through the park, colder than it should have been. Too cold. Then the trees began swaying. Not from wind. From something moving between them. I stepped back instinctively. "What is that?" Mara grabbed my arm hard enough to hurt. "It followed you here. It doesn't like to wait." Branches snapped somewhere deep inside the forest. My breath came fast and shallow. "You said not to go to it," I whispered. "I did," she said. "But it already came to you." Something dark shifted between the trunks. Tall. Wrong. A shape that seemed to stretch and shrink every time I blinked. It stepped closer. The sunlight didn't touch it. It swallowed light. "Don't move," Mara hissed, pulling me behind her. She took a shaky breath, then shouted toward the trees, "He's not ready yet." The shape paused. A voice, raspy, layered, ancient, drifted out from the forest like a breath exhaled by something colossal. "He will be." The ground beneath us vibrated softly, like the earth itself was listening. Then, slowly mercifully, the shape backed into the darkness of the trees and disappeared. I let out a sob I didn't know I'd been holding. Mara slumped to her knees. "I bought you time," she whispered. "But it doesn't give up. Not once it chooses." "How much time?" I asked, my voice barely a sound. She looked up at me with a grief that said she already knew the answer. "One night," she whispered. "Maybe two. After that it will call you again. You'll hear the knocking. Or the forest. Or the dreams. And eventually," her voice broke. "Eventually you'll go to it." I felt the world tilt around me. Because deep inside my mind, somewhere beneath the terror, beneath the denial, I could already feel something calling my name. A whisper threading through my thoughts. A whisper from the trees.